저게 언제가 거시에서다 데려와 어다 언제 태과 침비기 취냐면 지리 qabla ane kuno ane laksan namba daba la semje tamje dunga da jawa de ba da semje tamje ane dewa de temper de samba ya ane dagi ji semje dewa de temper da ngi ji semje dunga da dunga kyuna je ba jawa je ba de ngi ji ane laksan namba daba ke pasam di de de da 장비 되는 심지어 탐지 사료가 같이 예스 뭐 자주 쌤 군이 라제 얘는 아주 대바침이 취냐면 제가 아니 당고 대바침이 퇴퇴퇴퇴 뭐지 얘는 퇴비 되는 상 얘는 퇴비 되는 상비기 하고 되는데야 냠바샤지 냠샤 공지는 사료가 또 퇴선 공지 고래서 이 퇴선 공지 제가라데 전주 전주 연락도 오토마송하지 전주 해보면 봐도 무주시 전주기 담지하는 양면지 오래서 근데 이제 뭐 자주 쓰는 신바다 그래 전주 휴자고 여봐지 이 태바 태송 공송 제가이나 예 디숨 자산 동영화이나 아니 사주고 저도 토토리에서 그래서 라니네 데네상 양면지 실내 좋았음지 한 심제에 Bendigo Geshe Thubten on dit quoi là, voilà, et rangi, Bendigo, voilà, et dans la descente, and dit quoi,
good afternoon. This morning, the verses that we looked at this morning, they were expressing the aspiration in prayer that in order to actually enter through the doorway of the Mahayana, then one needs to generate the minds of love and compassion, generating them to the point where one gives rise to the mind of special intention, which is where one takes responsibility for the individual welfare of each and every sentient being. So to express this term special intention in a way that carries more of the meaning, then maybe we can say give rise to the altruistic attitude of universal responsibility, where the practitioner is making the commitment to lead each and every sentient being to a state of lasting, stable happiness, a state freed of suffering. So this is the mind of the altruistic attitude of universal responsibility. And then having generated this mind, then bodhicitta follows, which requires that extra step of, and in order to do this I will become a Buddha. So this mind of bodhicitta then is the doorway for entering into Mahayana practice. Having entered into, now passed through the doorway to the Mahayana, and conjoining this mind of bodhicitta with joyous perseverance, then the practitioner has the strength of mind required to continue to strive for enlightenment through the activities of hearing and studying, contemplation and reflection, and meditation. And when these three are conjoined, the mind of bodhicitta, together with the powerful joyous perseverance, and then thirdly, with the activities of hearing, reflecting, and meditating, then enlightenment is quickly attained. And through this whole process, tremendous benefit comes not just for oneself, but for others too. This whole process leading up to the fulfillment of the goals of a bodhisattva, benefit comes to self and to other. So this was the aspiration expressed in the prayer this morning.
Alright, that was the that have a chimbigi, lam timbigi, shinye, on Cheche, on the Tava chimbigi, chu, tesum, jevale, chu, shuelia, and Gazi, the shue, ravine, and the chick that Atisha, that the chick, that is on Jema Shume, some didn't remember chair, and the Gazi shue in and telia, and the chick, Chosheme Bachen, Gazi Shuna, she was Shutuagi, and the Monam Jaffer, Igor Mashiere.
Now in this next verse, we come to look at we're taking this one step further. And then just to say from my side, this morning I didn't get it quite right, so I'll get it right now. So what this verse then is coming to present, that when we've come to rely on a spiritual guide, a teacher who's qualified to teach us the Mahayana Dharma and to train us in how to develop through reflection and meditation on the Mahayana Dharma. Here what we need to abandon is the mind of misplaced contentment. So this was the word I missed this morning. We need to abandon this mind of misplaced contentment. This mind that would think, oh, I've studied this, I've received many teachings in that, I don't need to come to this class, or I don't need to reflect any further on that. This misplaced contentment needs to be avoided, and that is what is expressed in the next prayer.
Namda ribi topje sunrabden jijin jela shenjing mijobe kebe gamdo taye sunrabla momba mipe tebache sho se monam adus jamna.
This brings us to the 13th verse, and I'll read ever so slightly changed version. I pray that I listen insatiably to countless teachings at the feet of a master, single-handedly with the power of logic unflawed, prizing open scripture's meanings.
Namda review to you soon up to answer. Chisada and that Namda review to you soon up to that Sosugi Javache and Dambo and Sosorangi and Chiki Lama Shandas in the Tune Duhendelia, repeat some down, some the Javache and the Duhendi and San Jimnandi soon shape you soon up Duhendi Sosugi and it's me. Never was semi-Gilwa, Namda rebuilt of you sooner of Duhenshide, Sosuki and the Hakoache, Hakoatella, Namda rebuilt of you sooner of Duhenshide, Hakoache. Then Jijin Chela, Shenji Mijoba Sida, Ma, and sooner of you doing Ma Jawad Javan, Jawad, and Donad, or Didire, Sayati Hanzuki, and the chicken, or Denechena, and sooner you done that this Sundua, Denechevana, Denison Divasagor, Denison Kawasagor, Lamgoma, Denekomor, Tichile, Decomor, Denig Suram Masan Jim, Sura Nama, Sunshagoti, Susugima, Jawajab Denma, Shanley Shevala, and Shenji Mijoba City, Shanley at Jim Watch, Soso Ranto Geshe Thubten Rabten. Shenjing Joban, Soso Sheva, Hamad, Otigar, the Canada was Milky Tibana, Shanley Dugor, just Shanley. Just I didn't Shanley Dumoba, Sosorana, Guinema, Mango Tubache, Duendi, Mayane, and some kind of Duendi, Simming Evaza, Sunrapti, Sanji Suna, Sunjabi, Dunda, Simming Evaza, Sosugi Ma, Sosugi Yamlin Chevainata, Michelia, Lopin Chevainata, Sunrapi Dundati, Odi, Dida Dires, Manova, Machuba, Hamo, Casa, Machuba, Manova, and Sosorana, Hakoa. Hakoatilla, and the Shenji Mijoba. Namda rebuilt the son of Jijin Jela, Shenji Mijoba.
I'll read the verse again because this verse, the English and Tibetan is very mixed. I pray that I listen insatiably to countless teachings at the feet of a master, single-handedly with the power of logic unflawed, prizing open scripture's meaning. Here, the aspiration that is being expressed is that is being expressed builds on what we have been looking at in preceding verses. Having met and come to rely on a qualified teacher, one is receiving teachings on the Mahayana Dharma from this teacher, and one's receiving many teachings from them and studying with great effort. And conjoined with this, one is investigating, one is using one's reasoning, one is investigating with unflawed logic, one is investigating investigating the teachings that one is receiving. And one is doing so, both of these activities of hearing and of contemplation, repeatedly over a sustained period, until a valid cognizer arises. In other words, an incontrovertible understanding of what the teachings one has received arises within oneself. And then through this power, one is able to single-handedly prize open the scripture's meaning, which means this single-handedly, it's through the power of this reasoning that has led to the arisal of a valid cognizer which incontrovertibly understands the meaning of what has been taught, that when one does this through one's own power, and thereby no longer needs to go and ask someone, oh, what does this mean? Or in this circumstances, how does it apply? One has gained an incontrovertible understanding. So this has come about through receiving many teachings, repeatedly reflecting on these teachings over a sustained period, and thereby giving rise to a valid cognizer of in relation to what has been taught.
남다 리버 양다베 토네 리비 양다바 토네 제시 자고래서 지산디 디제나 디차기래서 디제는 디차기도 금전디래서 변하는 뒤로와 사본로지 디니야 가르소리 지금 이제 깨어도 이구시켜와 하는 어디 가르치 깨어려는 어디 많이 유사원 많이 사원시 사월 배워래 그래서 대사원 지여봐 서진 사원 여봐 될을 때네 아니 이구리 깨어와래서 하다 되게 리버 금전 삼다 소소라는 게 김전 삼다 don다지 손라지 되는게 랑이 손라기 되는데 랑이 삼다지고 체명에 봐서 제시자라 근데 챤이야 좀 소소라는 나도 제시자 두고래서 직제 나네야 제시자도 갈이야 아주 김전 리바 남다 노출만 리바 남다가 토네 어디래 디미 김전 디래서 알베네 디시그로 와서 최 담제 덴발 마주바리에 사치 시그로 와서 덴발 가서는 유단健康了让我们马主巴的是对吧马主巴写的马主dimsen 가래 라면 아주 리버 dimsen 가르 고거서는电见者穷了先起了对的主不多其先起了对的主班长对班长对吧马主巴的是dimsen贵些个了哦第那些马送的个不啦dimsen 리버养到贵些嘛现在这些讲图呢图吧的了那现在比较吧下去结果남다 리피트 비 손럽게 리버 양다 토든 제시자래 현在对我们让都给建立吧现在on the next one
Let's look a little bit more then at this term here, single-handedly. So this then, more literally, it's showing an emphasis on oneself. So the meaning is that oneself has come to understand the Buddha Dharma through one's own efforts, in particular, one's contemplation. So the hearing and study aspect, one does oneself in relation on one's teacher, follows their advice in how to contemplate and reflect on those teachings, but one has to do this oneself, and through doing so repeatedly over a sustained period, then one gives rise to a valid cognizer, a correct understanding of what one has been receiving teachings on and contemplating. And then when this has happened, and first of all, this can only come about through this sequence. One needs to gather knowledge, reflect on that knowledge, and through doing this repeatedly, one's understanding becomes unmistaken. Those to have an unmistaken understanding requires these preceding steps. If either is missing, one will not give rise to an unmistaken or a incontrovertible understanding. And then to attain such a valid cognizer, one needs to reflect. And that means one reflects with reasoning or with logic, with analysis, with investigations, with logic. And one's logic needs to be unflawed, or again the literal word would be correct or valid. So one needs to use unflawed logic, analyzing the teachings, thinking for oneself. And it's through thinking for oneself that so for oneself is the single-handedly, and the thinking is the logic, that one gives rise to a unmistaken understanding, a valid cognizer. So this is particularly important for two reasons. One, for one's own spiritual development, one needs to have unmistaken understandings. Secondly, in order to benefit others, as we've heard, the most meaningful way to benefit others is to teach them the Dharma so that they too can cultivate virtue, cultivate merit, as well as develop the antidote to suffering, wisdom realizing emptiness. So, but to be able to teach others the Buddha Dharma, one has to understand it, and one has to understand it in a way that is incontrovertible, is unmistaken. So this is the second reason why one has to go through this process of studying, reflecting, meditating in order to give rise to valid cognizers, so that one can teach others too in an unmistaken manner. And to give then an illustration then of unmistaken logic, so on a simple level, from a seed comes a sprout. Where did the sprout come from? It came from the seed. And from this type of seed, only that type of sprout will come. So that's logic, it's unmistaken, easy to understand. Not in itself going to lead to liberation. So what one particularly, the area of logic particularly to develop would be, all phenomena are empty of inherent existence. So this we hear. But that's a statement. For to have impact, we need to know why. And then why it leads one to needing a valid reason. All phenomena are empty of inherent existence because they are dependent arisings. One thing relies on another, one thing relies on another, which is a meaning of dependent arising. All phenomena are empty of inherent existence because they are dependent arisings, in that one thing relies on another. And with this unmistaken understanding, one can present the Buddha Dharma in an unmistaken manner.
dobki ribi dos nyamnyo yebe ribi dobki ane yang chi shen le chebe ka le riba yang da ge tone pa Geshe jap riba yang da ge tone Geshe jap che ma den tu ye de rang dobki den tu ye de la de ne ge den tu be kya ba se ora de ne ge den tu be kya ba di za le ya chue chue go ba de so ke be gam do sun rap la se de ne ge sun rap le ya ma ju ge san de ne ge kya ba la ma de ne ge za ne ga de chue chue go ba de de ne o de nya ma ga cha ji xu da cha你送去人，他修没什么，他忙我修站，他过来没什么什么的呢，对了呀，你确实了，恰了了，这但这个人什么，就是那那个马上把这，看这那个开不那么开发地震了，国家不来的学的，别的呢修个人生别个的，去刺激哪的，你们忙不哪的，看这那修个人生别，我们没把什么，的那个呀。确实给你没办法，干这些呢，属于什么什么阶级的那个学图表的，学图表学生呢，没人家我来是我们没别特别结果学生的那个那边真的那个学的，学，我们没办法，确实嘛，这把干这些呢，学图表的图表学生没人家我来是。
Den Grunde kan gå zug du, den der selpak masong, kan di tikang de selsinang du selpak chung, de malep gongla, kan dramita song song de yapo nian gore, yamene yapo lab gore di inge gomasong.
Kalau nanti, kita nak jadi, tadi kebe kamdo saya di, namda review tu yusun review tu, Geshe ma jawala, ane siapa le tu mau kau susu rantuk ki, ane riba namda kau ni pa jauh si jauh tu aja, dene ke jauh tu yang keba, lama, dene sana cuci cuci ada lah, ane mo jika cuci macam macam, kaji cuci ada na, cuci cuci sana malam jauh ada je, tadi le tanda.
Self-focusing. What was just explained were the first two Tibetan lines. Now we come to the second two Tibetan lines. So for us, those are really the first two. I pray that I listen insatiably to countless teachings at the feet of a master. So what we've just heard is that one needs to receive many teachings, and one needs to not just passively receive, but one needs to reflect on the meaning of what is being received. So that is both hear and contemplate. One needs to, and when one contemplates, one needs to do so with intelligence, with logic, with reasoning. And one needs to do this repeatedly over a sustained period. So the key points that we're hearing here is that as the student, one needs to use our intelligence. We need to use our analytical skills, our reasoning skills, our logic, our investigative skills. So this is the first key point. Now moving to for us, the first two lines, we need to come to understand the Dharma, we need to rely on a qualified teacher, a teacher who is qualified to explain the Mahayana Dharma. So we have the word here, master. So the word, what it means, has two components. It's often translated as perhaps a scholar or the learned, but it has two components. The one being someone who is greatly learned in the area, and secondly, has realization of the area, of the topic. So they have intelligence and they have experience. They're wise and they're experienced. So knowledge and experience is what is meant by this term we have here as a master. So the Mahayana spiritual teacher that we're relying on is someone with both knowledge and experience. And when we're receiving teachings from them, we should be doing so with utilizing our wisdom. So that's the first point, and the first point is the wisdom, the second was the qualities of the teacher. The third then is that we must guard ourselves from coming under the influence of misplaced contentment, or misplaced in contentment, which means we should listen with insatiability. Whether a teaching is just going to be a short talk, or whether it's going to be for a weekend or for a longer course such as this, whatever the breadth, whatever the profundity, with great joy and delight at the opportunity to ever deepen our knowledge and our experience, we should receive teachings. So we should have an attitude of insatiability and not one of misplaced contentment.
Bendigo molum jagore so de nanda la anjogi karasu gores na do labjar karenang gore lamna esan sosigi molum dine jagores molum dine jab dine molum jab ne dine ha jogi thoba chebi gogap yidi kapla jege da ting sosigi bene namda shigwe yada soso nyama lama koron jogi and Jebache Yamenche, and Namakorong and Yamyon Tone, and Azulia, Shikwe Namda Manova, Kimchen Yanda Beton and Azulia, Teshe Jatu Lama Dizane, Shualia, and Tige Yane, the Katishuna, Shua and the Shugoles, Sajina, Dondala, Carsonet, Teshe Jagan, Yahura, China, the Gazana Shuna, China, Teshe Jab Machimba, and Sosuge. Bejiru Jiloche, Maji, Michel, Kishi, Sosuke, Teme, Mangebache, Yemena, Kishi, Dine, Amju, Yamba, Marji, Jabula, and Tishi Loquajab, and Jimsen Yada Tony, Shema Tuache, Dine Jimse, made Dine Tishi Jabba, and Yambana, Shara on Zulem, Pandas Yomara, Yagotra Yomara, Dine Mimbic Lama Keva, Rigo Yanda with on the Tishi Jab to get Sosorangi. Nyama Jebache Nyamyo Yuti, the Nigel Lame, Celia Sunda between Ma, Teshe Shit and Lama Zula, Shukati, Shuna, Shugores, Shitati, Shuni Shida, when I'm the Garum Chisel, Robushton, they are the Lemon Sunshi Shuvena, then I Lemon Sunjas, Harry Garum Chikundina, Sarasum, she said, they didn't, and then Garum Lemon Sunshi Navana. I didn't do me, and Yama Garum and Lemon Sunshi, Sarama, which you said, Sashi. Mess and Devan to get that Choshi Chapel, or Dimembaje, the Niggy, Shia, Kohopkaze, and Shugures, Chazan Shuna Gaze, Shuvina Sosolia, and Sosolian, Yaha Shingres, Konyamnecha, Yaha, Gures, Gazena, Shugures, Shugures. Ninaje Kazin Sugar Sun, the Shula, Lamets and Sunshi, Shisha, the Yamati, and the Yana Yano has a law race. She done that Yana Yano, some tango. Then Choshe, I think the Saramon laws and that Malona Jigger somebody, Nema Sambache, Yana and law race. Then again, now to get. She done that together. That Sarmongo done as Sarmongo sometimes says in my budget, as it down when I can say some Yana and the Taya, two chairs, and then Yamachi will listen with that and that.
So the advice that Rinpoche is giving to his students in this prayer is about the attitude that someone striving to become a being of greatest benefit for all should have. Because without such an attitude, then enlightenment would be the attainment of enlightenment would be severely impeded. So the student has come to rely on a teacher that they have confidence based on their experience that this teacher is both knowledgeable in the Mahayana Dharma and has experience of the Mahayana Dharma. So they've come to the point where they're relying on a teacher with this correct attitude. Then whenever the teacher bestows teachings, the student should have an attitude of great joy, of delight. No matter what the subject is or the duration, joy and delight should arise. This is whether it's something that is difficult to understand or whether it's something that the student feels, I've received these teachings many times. Neither attitude would be appropriate in that they would be harmful, or they'd create an obstacle to the development of the student. So, for example, I've received teachings on the Lama from His Holiness many times. And so I know, though, each time I go to receive teachings from His Holiness, the text I know well. The topics that are covered I know very well. But nevertheless, because I go with an open mind, with joy at receiving the teaching, I'm not overcome by any misplaced contentment. Rather, because of having an open attitude, an excitement and joy at being able to receive teachings from His Holiness, even though it's a topic I know very well, my knowledge will improve, and my experience of that topic will develop. Because even when we hear the same teaching again and again, if we're listening, we're not sitting there distracted, we're listening, we are engaging in thinking about that topic, especially if we are using our wisdom, using our intelligence. So this is the second key point. The one was the joy, and now the second key point, the wisdom. And so here we should be using our wisdom, even though we're hearing the topic again and again. By using our wisdom, we will understand something that we haven't understood before, even though the words maybe haven't changed very much. But because of the merit gained due to our positive attitude, we are able to understand it in a deeper way. Our knowledge and our experience will grow. Whereas if we have this mind of misplaced contentment, that will block what could have happened. Even when you hear the same teaching, you're listening to a recording and you're hearing that same teaching again, if you're not overcome by misplaced contentment but rather have an attitude of insatiability, your knowledge will deepen, your experience will deepen.
디셰야다 삼중기 셰랍디게 야고제고 쇼세디 삼중기 냠내 야고치 투어 쇼세 모남제디 디고시야다.
As was expressed in a previous class, the title of this text, A Prayer for the Beginning, Middle and End of Practice, can also be understood in the context of hearing, reflecting and meditating. And it was said that throughout we need to do all three, but especially as beginners we have to receive many teachings in order to gather knowledge. So now the part of the text to do with hearing is done, and now we come to the part emphasizing the second of those practices, that of reflection or contemplation. And so this then we can liken to the middle in this illustration. And the need for reflection is so as to develop our wisdom and give rise to ever more profound insights through reflecting on what we are studying, reflecting on the teachings that we are receiving.
sungan kugur dine sungan ane gewe shinyin yabuji teba sho se molam jaya dine ane gewe shinyin di che ma che sung no du gabla ane jige deso ane kunwa di kunwa janshu simbi kunye la da ane chi zunju gi nyamle jaya da che tue gi zunju nyamle jaya da dine gi on di yongwa sho se molam jaya da dine gi che tue che ane jige de so ya nyamle o sho de nga ye ya da dine yongwa jesa dine nga ye di ma je wa sho se molam jaya da on dine sin nga ju tue bi nyamle jaya ko ane gyo mo molam jaya jaya she wa da she de sambi gi sam da tue bi duen de ya sam no da je nyamle jaya la an nyamle ya bu je tu sho se she de da ba wa ke ba du ki wi gi molam si de 바도 담보 티베 냠나제 몰람 잡사체 다 안에 삼중기 셰르게라 몰람 제디 디고시여와.
And if we think of so the three, the hearing, reflection and meditation, how then does, and we've just heard then that the part on hearing has just concluded and we're starting now the part on reflecting. So we can say the beginning is concluded and we're coming to the middle. So how then has what we've been hearing up to this point applied to the hearing part or the listening part of hear, contemplate and meditate? Well, the aspirations that have been expressed started with an aspiration to attain a favorable rebirth, and in particular one of a precious human rebirth. Because as a human being, one has the capacity to hear teachings. Certainly in the lower realms this is not possible. One can't hear or listen or understand. So therefore, the aspirational prayer is to continue to receive favorable rebirths, in particular that of a precious human rebirth, and once having attained a precious human rebirth, to utilize it in the most beneficial way in terms of our spiritual progression, to achieve ordination, and having achieved ordination to have all conducive circumstances to hear teachings. So therefore these are also included within the first, that of hearing. And then in order to hear teachings, then the aspirations were expressed that one needs a qualified teacher that one understands as being or recognizes as being qualified. And we heard about the qualities that are required, in brief, both knowledge and experience. And thereafter, still staying within the section of listening or hearing, then we spoke about the motivation with which to receive teachings, motivation of bodhicitta. And we spoke about how to overcome all obstacles that do come and succeed very quickly. One needs to receive teachings, to listen, to hear with joyous perseverance. It's mind that's taking delight in the opportunity we have. And then lastly, we heard that as one develops, be aware of pride. Be aware of that danger of pride arising within oneself. So that's where we've got up to, and that's included within hearing. Now we start on reflection or contemplation, the middle part of this prayer for virtue. Now we come to the 14th verse, where we express an aspiration to give rise to the wisdom arising from contemplation. Having examined day and night with fourfold logic all that I have heard, may I banish every doubt with the discerning understanding that arises from such contemplation. Looking at the first two lines, having examined day and night with fourfold logic all that I have heard. So here, at this point, one has received many teachings on the Mahayana Dharma and has been engaging in reflection on this meaning. And here one is the encouragement is to continue with this, continue with this with great enthusiasm, reflecting day and night, using in particular logics. We have here the fourfold logic, so using our reasoning, our intelligence, and a logic that is both unmistaken and non-deceptive, so as to come to the true meaning of the Mahayana Dharma. Tsema makye badu di jekare. Desung so? Tsema makye badu. Okay. So the verse then refers to the use of valid logic. So valid logic is to be used day and night, and it's to be used until one gives rise to a valid cognition with regard to the teachings that one has received. So until one gains a realization that is incontrovertible with regard to the teachings, one needs to apply fourfold logic. The fourfold logic then are reasoning of dependency, being the first, dependency as in dependent arising, reasoning of dependency, the reasoning of function, function activity, maybe reasoning or function, the reasoning that correctly establishes. So this would be a valid cognizer, the reasoning that correctly establishes, and fourthly, the reasoning of the nature of things. So these are the four types of reasoning: that of dependency, of function, that which correctly establishes, and the nature of things, or the nature of phenomena, perhaps the nature of phenomena.
Samle juo yi su de xin ang zu jeba che se yu de le ya jeba che su samje ne su de ang zu jeba che se yu de xin wa de le jeba che ne o di re sha se nge ba ni su de cheme dong samle juo se samle samba le ne gar juo le se di re sha se me chema du ge le ge wa se zu de ne ge yo de an gar juo se ne di xin ang zu gar su o di na me na se tie zum de ge me ba cha ru le tie zum da an namju le du samli samba jeba chini dinige topi chamadi ngeba nibe chamadi la namju habu be namju shir bodi ki yodu ane garasne lui tiezum di jing di na mena di yue na mena sambe tiezum di meba charo di tiezum meba setu kures sigore.
Giving rise to valid cognition, as when it comes to the stage where one can banish every doubt. And this is done through the use of discerning understanding, or discerning analysis, or discerning investigation. And this comes from such contemplation. So the meaning then of the last three lines here is that engaging in this analysis or investigation through fourfold logic repeatedly over a sustained period, then one comes to a very profound understanding of the object that one is investigating. So whatever the subject matter is that one is investigating, that object, one's mind comes to understand that in a profound way. And one gives rise to a valid cognizer, an understanding that is incontrovertible with regard to that knowledge, that object, sorry. So here, then, this powerful wisdom arises. And this wisdom eliminates any doubts or a lack of clarity, lack of understanding one has with regard to this object, and this is done through discerning understanding, which is again this analytical, investigating mind, and that arises from contemplation.
Da sanji sonra na ya ni jimbe nyamlen che wo re se chang so da sanji tyaba chimi chue nyamlen che du ka bla ma thyo ro thyo de da tyaba chimi chue nyamlen che la an ku lo cha shi sim yu ku ne la che nyamlen che de ga se ne jimbe nyamlen che ro su de nyamlen su be nyamlen che wo re an ji pa shi du nyamlen che wo re se ne da ma mo ko sa ro ko sa de da jimbe nyamlen che wo re so da di am jo de ma jimbe nyamlen che wo ra se de ma du ko se thwe be de yu ko wa le 다인자의 진변념을 지어서 내 진변념을 지어고 그래. 다 퇴배 된데 가서 진변념을 지어고 해서 돼. 이 진바세를 가르쳤어. 다리도 가서 그러 대시 퇴야지 진변념을 지어고 해서 돼. 그퇴해서 난 된다도 손으로 퇴야지 된데가 진변념을 지어서 돼. 된다 삼다리 진바세를 가르쳤어. 아니 이게 칼라데야 진바레베스. 이 칼라데야 칼라데 진바레베스. 가르 심바스 니단 레갈레아디 짐바레스 니파 데기 두스 자와시에 짐바레베스 내가 또 짐바세데 가르치 레고레스 제가 짐바세디 그런 거 숙지레베 셰바지레 그런 거 가르치레 짐바세데 숙레베 셰바레스 두스 셰바지레 와다 아주 짐비지 뭐 짐바 잡레 셰바 나다 삼중이 셰라 게 된다라 셰바지 거로 와다 제가 내가 짐바세데 파 셰바지는 안다 파트에게 제대로 진발하기에나 근데 제면에 진변념는 제면 누워서 진짜다 진변념는 제거를 해야 돼 아니 네 가서 제제原来的面的 진변념는 제거서 진짜 제대로 장비도 딱 진발 가르려면 소식에 삼노나려야 그럴 얘기도 아니 세디 네파도 제바 진발에 가르해서 제바 제도 땅도 삼노나려야 직선이야 제고 선배 삼로디 이 아니 배나가서 칼라로 진네 딩이 칼라디 벤시 셴질 되고 선배 삼로디 진바레서래 사지 디 삼로디 진바 있는다 얘네 삼로디 디나래 가려라다 디나래 안에 셰발라이도 디나데네 셈중요르다 로아디데네 셈요레 셈지콜이야 안에 초와 두시 셈바 일레체바랴가 생각용거래 셈중코론 집에는 콘도 죽념도 용거래 세상 되는 죽념나자디 죽나 그게 제 차상 진바레베 직 진바레 니 진바레 그게래서 제바체 두 전에 제바체도 약간 제량아도 제의 방이 최고 선비기 진비게 동의 셈바라고도 세상 동의 셈바라도 디 안에 셈주샤도 세상 진바세데 다 셈주들이 세상 되는 제베컬로 초와치려요 초와대화 초와대 지나도 제 제베가 가랑라 초와치리리고로 초와코는 진바레베스 오다디레미도스 다 초와제레미도 한 두셰라 네 미딜레 제와스 잘라 디테와 두셰시로 안디 진바레스 어디한 진바레미도스 다 되는 가르레샤스 제오 선배 셈바시 셈바 제가 되는 동의 셈바스 되는 니 바샬레 제오 선배 셈바디레샤스 되는 다 디셈바디 샬랴 지 제오 선배 셈바 잘라마선 샬레 제오 선배 셈바디 진바레샤스 딩안주 가리네 최바로지나 제디야 권철리 푸규인세베스 셈바치어바다 이 푸규인세베스 셈바 어디 진바레샤스 제자다 류유권에 류유권에 샬라 자와진 류유권에 샬라 자와진 마랑 류유 뉴슈디 샬리야 펜비기 펜바딜레 제워세베 셈바디 진바레샤스 또 삼다도 되는 진바디 진바세디 마랑주 제기 칼라마스나 칼라게 제 칼라디 진바레미도스다 칼라디 진바레미도 지난 칼라 제세게 유리한 진바레미도 다 진바디 가려라나 땡에 제와선비 굴로데 리한 진바레미도 다 그래서 이 가서를 동의 셈바스 미디바 샹라 지기 셈비게 셈바치어로 와다 제디 파 동의 셈바 셈바치 어디 다 진바레샤스나 두체데 제바 어디 진바디레샤 셈베 삼로다 하고요도 다 진비기 뭐디 디레샤 뭐 라트바와 라트여도 되네 진바한다
그는 뭐 라트바라
라트바 하고 된 제바치네 어디레샤스나 하고요 하고 제가 되는 제바 제제 삼로다데 진바도 어디네 질리 진바 라비도 셈비 진바도 하고요도 아니 대시 손로기 되나야 아니 진배 냠는 제월 진배 냠는 제월에서 진바체 손셰비 손로 된다기 제바 제제 아니 진바디 뭐데 하고 두고 와다 예선으로 시대
So let's make this a bit clearer through giving an example, giving an illustration. So you've all received many teachings on the Buddha Dharma, and when we hear about the Mahayana Dharma, then we will usually also hear about the practices that those of the Mahayana, the Bodhisattvas, that they engage in. So these we will know are the 6 perfections. And so when one has studied a lot and come to understand the 6 perfections, then whilst one is studying the 6 perfections and coming to understand them well, one needs to reflect. So there are two parts here. The one part is one needs to receive many teachings to gain knowledge and to gain understanding of this knowledge, not to leave it as mere knowledge. One has to reflect. Therefore, having heard about the practices of a bodhisattva, for example, generosity, one has gained a lot of knowledge. So then one needs to investigate what one has heard, investigate that knowledge. And this then is contemplation or reflection. So now one is going to meditate on generosity. Come and do so as to come to an unmistaken understanding of generosity, so that no doubts or misunderstandings can arise that would impede one's own practice or to be able to later guide others. So then when reflecting on generosity, one's doing so now on the basis of all the teachings that one has been hearing. And again, just to make the point, without having heard a lot of teachings on generosity, one's not going to do much in the way of reflection on it. One needs to have acquired knowledge. So then one is engaging in meditation. So what is meant by generosity? Is it the being that I am generous towards? Is it what I am generous with, the substance? Or is it something non-material, such as consciousness? So is generosity matter or form, or is it consciousness? And we can look at three areas. There's let's say if one is offering food. Easy example, food is offered to someone or to a being. It's food that is being offered, and then there's some mental engagement, there's some mind present. So where amongst this is generosity? Is it the person that's being offered to? Is it the substance being offered? Is it the mind doing the offering? So something immaterial. So if it were the substance being offered, then what if no substance was being offered? If the person had a mere wish to offer, but didn't offer, would that be generosity or not? And what if there was a wish to offer, but no substance given? Yeah, that's the same thing. Would that be generosity or not? Or if something was left aside and someone else consumed it, so there was no thought, no motivation or intention to give, someone just took what was aside, would that have been generosity? So without the presence of mind. So here then one needs to investigate, because what one is trying to do is come to understand experientially with wisdom what one has heard, and to thereby eliminate any doubts or misunderstandings. So one should come to see that generosity, it can be practiced without actually giving anything. If there's an intention, or an intention expressed perhaps through visualization, or just the intention to give, that is what is said to be generosity. So if that is the case, then amongst our many different minds, then which mind is generosity? So we have, there are 5 omnipresent mental factors. So there's always these 5 mental factors present with every main mind, with every main consciousness. So these are feeling, their discrimination, their intention, mental engagement, and contact. So now one investigates and thinks, so if generosity is a mind, it should be in one of these omnipresent mental factors. Is it feeling, which is a pleasant feeling, and a unpleasant feeling, a neutral feeling? Well, that's not generosity. Is it the mind of discrimination, discriminating between that object or that object? That's not generosity. The 4th one, mental engagement, that's not, nor contact, meeting the object. It's none of those. And what about intention, the 3rd of the 5? So intention, the wish to give, the aspiration to give, the motivation to give, this is what is the mind. This is the mind of generosity. So in this way, through analyzing like this, we come to see for ourselves what generosity is, what the entity of generosity is, or we come to know the entity of generosity, or to understand the meaning of generosity. And this only comes about, firstly, through hearing teachings, and then secondly, through contemplating or reflecting on what one has heard. And in this way, one gives rise to a clear understanding of what one has been studying, and thereby dispels all doubts or misunderstandings from arising.
That's also wrong. Kansadi, my Jimba don't polish us. She's not Jimba don't Jimba chicken. She's a Kansadi, Jimba Mare. She's a Kansadi, Jimba chicken, Jimba don't. Then Tesa yu di jimba tong yu. Te ngobo di jimba tang ze. Hadi jimba tong ko jimbe ze jimba tong yu. Da jimba ngone de karela na samlo ni kolya jegi sembe samlo di. Odi jimba ngone di res. Chesa jimba ngone di jegi sembe samba di jimba che. Da dene ke te ngobo di jimbe ze che. Chesa kansa di jimbe yu che. Kansa soso rana jimba tong pe kansa se. Dene ke jimbe nyamle jimba telya cheba che du ne su shi ha bu do. Jimba to yu je ha bu de jimba to ze sa. Jimba tong po kansa se. Jimba korong se de dene ke kyabar che de ne su shi ha bu yo. Chesan jimba ngo se se bu ha bu tu bo ra. Chesan dene ke cheba che ha bu sam san dan ta sam da de dene ke jimba. Chesan jimba ta yu dire jimba dire sha ha bu yo. 대시간 진바 세대 가르 신나면나 선배기 태좀다. 야는 제기 뭐보디 진바 있나 선배기 진바에 선바이나 니 로시 차려 와다. 나도 뭐보디 잘라제 잘라디 진바는 게 디마 제기 진바 당구에서는 이 잘라디 그런 제 뭐보디 진바에 선다바나 니 진베 제 마도 진방원이 림도 와. 대시 진바에 선바는 안 선나로 여바는 선로도 노트 차려 와. 제가 나도 제바지 진비기 가르에서 동의 선바디 진바에 하고요도 오 대신 아주 제게 제디 진바리 선배 삼로디 고 가르 거래. 제사 때 진바리 가래 있나면 선배가 삼로디 태좀디게 봐 제제 진바 원에 인바데 하고 두고래 제래.
So here, having received many teachings on the Buddhist, many teachings from one's teacher on the Buddhist teaching of generosity, then one has come to quite a good understanding and develops a lot of knowledge, gained a clear understanding of what is meant by generosity. But then this needs to be internalized, and it's internalized through analytical meditation or reflection, contemplation. So here we then investigate 4 different objects to find what is truly or accurately meant by generosity. Is generosity the object to which the offering is made, so perhaps the being that the offering is made to? Is it the offering substance? Or is it the person making the offering? Or is it a mind? And if so, amongst the minds, which is it? And then through the process of analysis, we'll see that generosity is, whether something is generous or not, whether we can call something generous or not, is not in relation to the object generosity is performed. It's not in relation to the substance that is offered. It's also not to do with who is doing the offering, but it's rather a mind. And amongst the minds, it is the mental factor of intention. This mental factor of intention is what is generosity. So knowing this, then any doubts or misunderstandings one has will be eliminated. And this is very important, because having come to see for oneself clearly what is meant by generosity, not just reliant on teachings from one's teacher, then when one comes to practice generosity, one will place great emphasis on one's intention, one's motivating mind, knowing that that is generosity. And what is not the act of generosity, the substance being offered or the object being offered to, it is the mind. And knowing that that is generosity, great emphasis will be placed on the cultivation of motivation.
디 삼로데 야네 장고 장네 장제 슈크셔 땅고 나도 디 도초데 가르스네 세나데 야도 디디메 삼베 삼로데 세나데 디디메 가라 구고 셴 디메 삼베 삼로데 세나스 지상 나도 로버 제게 뉴버 여바 나데니 제나 아서 디디메 가라 구고에서 베 세나 쉬어봐서 디 세나 디기 아서 산유 고바 토발라 바르셰데 디 바르셰지고 지상 디 세나데 메바 쉬고 디 세나데 메바 쉬어봐달라 아니 샹타기 유자라 토네 메바 쉬투에 오마 메바서 가서 소수게 삼는 거네 소수게 삼는 다시 디 메바 쉬고 다 소수게 샹에 다 나랑 구고 샹에 제메서 베 세나디 가네스 메바 쉬고래라 소수게 삼는 나네 기제기 샹에 제기 세베 삼로데 가세 슈크셰 따와나 제기 메서 베 삼로데 슈춘슈로 와라 다 제기 메서 베 삼로데 슈크셰셰 조나 제기 세베 삼로데 슈춘슈로 와라 디니디 디레 직슈체르나 직춘로 그래 직체르나 직춘로 그래 데네 인장 안주 디기 샹 제기 메 샹 로치 메서 베 소소 세나디 메바 쇠야라 소수기 다시 샹 제기 세베 삼로데 장고 그래 장완자디 안 삼로데 장하지야 뉴버시시시 가제 삼다메네 지 야네 야도 삼다메네 삼로데 슈체셰 그래 슈체셰 로데 세나데 슈춘로 그래 제가 데네 인장도 진빈냠는 제수도 전에 되나 지고 되게 삼로 샹다 가마다지 소스나라기 당연히야 지 제나 데니기 제 툰데 야고레 선비기 제 툰데 판인 김제상도 다로다 미 현의 제변 교고의 로체변 콜레두마세야다 아강아세야데 배 판도야고 요와데 아니 강아 세투비데 김제 판인 요바sam다 아니 디기 데니게 삼단 제바이나 소수기기에 세나디게 마좀 줘야기 데니게 세나 좀 요바sam다 데네 아니 데니게 진비 냠는 제바나 상지기 안서 랍제캡시게 랍제게 상지게 까주고요바다 주고요바다 삼다 두 제는 삼다 정아도 삼다는데 진비 냠는 제스 두 제는 하나도 도시네 다 지게 소수기 뉴바 제 변조 가데 신앙의 시작이 로치기 현조를 로치비 제 칼라베는 둘로메 한zel라 둘로 로치야다 데네지 안에 사야도에 봐 사야도에 로치 맨네 네나서 맨이 돈을 로치야 현 롭종 마신 벌니 롭종 돈을 로치 강하죠 소수기 연대 소수기 규자라 가라게는 샬야 제긴 셈 로치 샬야 제 땅이 현의 팬비 된다라 땅이 셈비 삼다디 디 만두 삼다 차디 진비 냠는 제 진비 냠는 진보 공부 진비 냠는 제 와서 디시고다 야지 마자에 돈달라미 천치에 돈달라 디로치기 미쇠에 돈달라니 멘달라서 되는 뉴에티기 디디기 세비 디진바 말지 로베지 마세요 로베지
로베 진바 학성 디 패천이 막당죠
멘다 접지 켜라 디 마게 멘다 뉴에 로버치에 되는 마자에 돈달라 멘다 뉴에 로버치 미쇠에 돈달라 디지제 로버치 베나 아니 심제스에 돈달 어디 어디서 디기서는 야고열선 디노보열선 디디게 로바 제베나 디제바레네 고 기회초도 제야 말이죠 미개와 지기 초서 디 진짜 되네자 디 진바 로바리 말데 진바 야다 바차가 진바 말이야 진짜 진바 써야 돼 아주 현래 패비 기회 디 제부 개와야게 지를 자와질래 동에 선바들라 네 진바하세요 되네게 다 아주 진비냠는 제세 이 삼도 따야 되다디 진비냠는 제세 누구치는 되게 sabbe 강이 된다 샤네 패배 그게 된다라 지 샤네 패비 된다라 지긴 sabbe 삼도 되다 네 장야래 가서 진비냠는 제세
The illustration of giving that's easiest to understand is giving material support to those who are impoverished. And of course, this is generosity. One's helping those in desperate need, and one is providing to them what they do not have, what they lack, but require. And one is doing so with this mental factor of intention, giving to them. So there is this wish to give. But in all circumstances, one is unable to help. One is unable to fulfill the needs of beings. We are not in a position where we can satiate the needs of beings. However, our ability to train our mind and develop this, our wish to give, This we can develop exponentially. This is not dependent on our material abundance. So the way to train or practice generosity, to train our mind in generosity, is through meditation. This is how we develop. And through doing this, the mind that is completely contrary to generosity, that of miserliness, this is overcome. So the mind of miserliness is, the mind of generosity is, I want to give, or I want to help in any way I can. It's this wish to give, whether it's material or a material help or some other kind of help. It's the wish to help, the wish to give. This is the mind of generosity. Its contrary mind, the mind of miserliness, is, I want this for myself. I want to keep this knowledge and the prestige that comes with it to myself. These material goods, I want them for myself. I don't want to give them away. So understanding then what is the mind of generosity, the wish to give, and the mind of miserliness, the wish to keep for oneself, it's clear they are completely contrary to each other. The stronger the one is, proportionately the other is weaker. So if a person is particularly miserly, they have a very weak wish to give. However, if we cultivate the mind wanting to give, this wish of generosity, then the contrary mind, that of miserliness, will proportionately weaken. So in meditation, as we engage further and further on the subject of generosity, our wish to help others will grow ever stronger. The wish to use whatever resources and good qualities we have to bring benefit to others will grow ever stronger. And then proportionately, the contrary mind of miserliness will weaken. And if we train in this way repeatedly over a sustained period, we'll see our way of thinking changing. So here we would do this by engaging in meditation as in an undistracted way as possible, where we try and we sit quietly, thinking about generosity. So we think, for example, of the benefits that will come from generosity, to generate delight within us. The benefits that will follow if only we were able to fulfill the needs of beings. And we can take the illustrations of people that we know, or what we observe in the news, or the sufferings that we know beings experience, and how wonderful it would be if we could give them the material resources they require, or we could help them in a variety of ways so that they could overcome their problems, overcome all forms of suffering. And in this way, the wish to help, the wish to bring benefit to others grows ever stronger within us. And then through this, our mind of miserliness gets weaker and weaker. So this we are aware of. The benefits of meditating in generosity and helping others, we'll feel this mind of generosity growing within us. And later, when the opportunity comes to help, that will arise much more spontaneously. The thought of miserliness holding us back will be that much weaker. And where we don't have the capacity to help, still the wish of wishing we had the capacity of wanting to help will arise. And then a third benefit, so the strengthening of generosity, the weakening of miserliness, and thereby benefits to self and others. That's two. The third is that we are fulfilling the spiritual instructions of our teacher, because it's our teacher who has taught us about the practice of generosity, and we now are following that advice. We're cultivating the mind. And we're following the advice of the Buddha himself, because our teacher taught that as well. So in this way, we train in generosity, which is the wish to use whatever inequalities or material possessions we have to benefit others. And moreover, through using an analysis, we strengthening our wisdom, and investigating generosity, we're gaining a better understanding of what generosity is. Because it's not necessarily giving to beings what they want. We need to use our wisdom, because there are times one shouldn't give what they desire. Someone who wants to perform harm, if we provide the means to perform harm, this is not generosity. It's giving. Sure, you gave a murderer a gun, they're going to go and commit murder with that. Or you gave a hunter a gun, that is not generosity. It's giving, But this is not creating virtue. This is not helping beings attain happiness. And it's not helping us attain enlightenment. So this understanding comes about through using analysis and investigation.
당아도 부여기 매도로 다 신도로 갈 부여네 디부여디 신도 최고 부여 제래 다 소소라랑 최고 부여도 가사 띵이 가사 다 최고의 가르라는 띵이 야 부인세 배삼로 되다 야 되니 가르시는 직관내지를 하고서 권조당 연두다 되래 부여는 지 부인세 배삼로 디다 최고원이 되래 부여기 제디 매도로 부여네 매도디 최배 제 안에 부색이 인류이나다 건조 상예나데 안에 최고부유 최고부유 제 최고부유 소소라나 최고되니 가사 최고원인데 가려는 소소라나 삼문나래야 이디 부기 삼로도 최고원인데 제가 되니 인자는 저기 최고부유 냠 부유 냠는 지어다 두 삼단의 소수기 지 개화당 노저 가라이나 약권초래 부기사의 라마의 부기사비게 삼노단디 삼노 장애도 권초를 최고 부기 냠는 지고라 최고 부유 냠는 지고라 제가 되니 삼노디 아직 안 돼. 되게 공부하지 대시 진배 냠는 제바도 최고 부유 냠는 제바 도스제리
When one's making offerings then to the 3 jewels for the Lama, then again, it's important to be very aware of what is meant by generosity, or what is the act of generosity. So let's say you're walking in the grounds here, and you see a Buddha image, and great faith arises within you. So faith then is a mental factor, or generally we'd say a mind, but if we're being specific, it's a mental factor. And then if, with this mind of faith, we then pick a flower from the garden and we offer this to the Buddha statue, then here the Buddha statue that we are offering to, this is the object to which one is making the offering. The offering substance is the flower that is being offered. We ourselves as the person, we are the offerer. And where is the generosity in this act? It is our particular mental factor of intention. So if someone were to ask us, where is the generosity in what you're doing? It's a mental factor of intention. So knowing that then, we know that this is the key part to cultivate. It's not about the statue, it's not about the flower, it's about the mind of intention. And then when we're not walking around the grounds, we're sitting on our cushion and we're training our mind in generosity, we can visualize our Lama, and we can imagine offering all our resources and all our qualities to our Lama. So this is an entirely mental process. Our teacher is not before us. We're not offering anything, any material substance. All we are doing is practicing generosity through strengthening this mental factor of intention. And this is the practice of generosity.
소수의 계획에 나서 루유고네 나서 솔로종토네 나데니게 소수의 삼롱원에 제바들라 모술라는 다와들라 다지바 나와서고와 제가 디나신다 이메 고철자 지금 최고 피기 선배 삼로딩아도 장고 데네 삼다도 삼단 그 야네야는 삼다도 최고 부위에 냐는 제바서 나 심레 장도를 지고 냐는 제서 장도를 지고 데니게 장도를 지어도 데네야 모술라 최고 무슨 부여 말하다 이니게는 소수기 메도로다 이니 부여들라 나가를 부여나 제지 부여도 나 최고 부여하세요 부여하세요 제가 이니 인자 부여하다 진비 냠는 제바다 진비 땅왕이라 해봐요 최비 냠는 최고 부여 냠는 제바다 최고 부여니라 해봐요 되겠지 이니 인자 아 진비 냠는 지위에서 하지 즉 소수기 현이야这투여 누버 로제 투여 누버 여바이나 아디디 티 메스터 냠는 지위에 디디 또 사람을 삼면은 진비 냠는 다다 차고 말아서 세나디 마좀 투여 말 디나시 최다 최가 최부인 세서 삼도 단계에서 최위 냠는 지위에나 디야 부투 삼말아 삼나는 아디 최부인 냠는 다다 차고 말 제가 아주게 진비 냠는 제비 진의 삼바 장외기 윤장 가르친 리엘나 간수고 샹리테기 누버여나 샹레기 로지 투고고로 제고고로 디 제투여기 제마도 바디 가르친 간수 삼로 세나 동기 샹리체 투고마 디 세나마 좀에 된다라 모두 땡에서 삼로 장 디장도 디기 제고 가르고서는 샹레 로제바고 제고고 진짜 니나 신한테 최고 표기인 세배 삼로디 아주 세네 원게 최고 표기 세나요 맞아 소소 표기 누가 연나 표마도 용거래 되네 인자 디세나데 마 종고래 디 점에 돈다 표기 세배 삼보다 야나양도 지 진짜 되네게 소소기 표기 누바다 고갑라 중요나 되네 남사 되네 최고 표고고래 와 되네 인자 진바 땅 세야다 진비 냠는 제세야다 되네게 진비 땅에 소소기 땅이 있으면 냠는 제반 진바 땅 아래 진비 냠는 제반 니가 잘 거래 다 소소기 진바 땅에 그 니바 매반 소소기 아제 그 고급 니바로다 고급다 매반 소소라나게 푸기 세베되네 고급라는데 푸기 제긴 세베게 삼로지 자나 진비 냠는 제반에서 진짜 되네 인자 저기 디제데 하고 세부로지 제산 두 세는 다시 제바이나 제바 제도 진비 오세 되는 시 하고 되네 진바 냠는 제세 되네 질 제바데 진비 냠는 지고라서 되네 제바데 진바 땅와라고 차상자 하고 두고로 되네 인자 되네게 삼 땅에 된다 하고도 되네 대좀지게 제로 대좀매가 차게 도바디게 세로 해서 그러다
So let's look at again at what is meant by generosity. If we take the term practice generosity, so when we practice generosity, what does this mean? So the literal translation for practice is gain experience of. So this should point one to what is meant by practicing generosity. It's cultivating the wish to give. It's sitting in meditation, or it's hearing teachings and reflecting on those teachings, and generating this repeated wish, may I help others, may I bring benefit to others. In these circumstances, may I help in this way, may I help in these kinds of ways. And generating the wish ever more to be of help to others, to be of service to others, to give of ourselves to others. So this is the practice of generosity. It, however, is not actually engaging in generosity. Because if one thinks, oh, I engage in generosity all the time, but one actually never does so, then there is part that is missing. So we need to cultivate this mind of wishing to give. And then when we actually engage in generosity, this would be when we give to others. Whether it is giving material resources, or giving help through physical help, or help through our speech, in whatever way, this giving of help, this is engaging in generosity. We need to put our time and energy into the practice of generosity, the cultivation of this wish to give, but we also need to engage in generosity, so doing the physical and verbal act of giving. And the reason we need both is if one develops, oh, I'd love to give, I want to give, but never does, probably the miserliness hasn't been reduced very much. And it will be the miserliness that is holding us back from helping when we have the ability to do so. So therefore, the energy needs and time needs to go into the practice, the mental development, but then this also needs to be acted out on, lived. One needs to then express this mind that one has cultivated through helping others. This is how one can be more confident that the selfish mind of miserliness, this is weakening, and the altruistic attitude of wanting to help, this is strengthening. So in generosity then, this wish to help is what will overcome miserliness, and miserliness is a mind that prevents us from helping others, especially when we understand generosity in not just material generosity, but helping others through physically offering assistance, verbally teaching the Dharma, giving advice, etc. This wide array of bringing benefit to others, and miserliness stops us from doing this. The more we train, though, in the mental aspects, the practice of generosity, then we will start to seek out the opportunities to engage in generosity. And when we encounter those generosities, we'll embrace those opportunities to help others. So that ever stronger engagement will come from the practice of generosity. And when we do so, because of using our analytical meditation and having come to a clear and unmistaken understanding of what is generosity, we won't practice generosity, engage in generosity with so distracted a mind or more thinking about the joy that's coming to others. We'll be having a mind of the intention, this intention to give. This will be dominant because we will understand that itself is the act of generosity, not the substance, not the person being offered to, not the one helping, but it is that mind of intention. And we will make sure that that is powerful, and we will explicitly or manifestly generate this wish to give. And to get to that point depends on hearing and reflecting. In this way, doubts and misunderstandings become completely eliminated. So what we've looked at then this afternoon is similar to what we looked at this morning. The two classes this sequence of verses led into each other. So the way then to incorporate this into our meditation practice. So the first step of the meditation is to generate a powerful and a power of mind and a joyous mind through a refuge and reflecting on the opportunities we've attained. The second part of the meditation was to generate the mind of definite emergence, the mind that wants to definitely emerge from cyclic existence through having seen all the faults of samsara and how suffering pervades samsara. And then the third step of the meditation was to generate bodhicitta through taking this experience that we've had in the previous step of the meditation and applying it to others, seeing how they too have the same wish and they are no different from us in having a right for happiness and longing for happiness. And then we develop bodhicitta ever further in the way that has been described previously. And when we give rise to this wish to become a Buddha for the sake of others, we remind ourselves that this can only be done if one can only actualize this aspiration to attain enlightenment for others if one repeatedly hears teachings and then reflects on these teachings and then meditates on these teachings. And then one progresses to the fourth step of the meditation, which are the activities of a bodhisattva, namely the 6 perfections. So we've heard a lot now about generosity, and with the practice of generosity we've come to understand this more clearly. And here we give rise to the wish through meditating on generosity. May I use my body, may I use of what remains of this life, may I use my material resources and all my inner good qualities. In other words, whatever is mine, may I use this to bring benefit to others. So here we generate this sincere wish to bring benefit to others. And similarly then, with the practice of ethical conduct, we also commit, as with generosity, that through our body, our speech and our mind, we'll bring no harm. So generosity is with our body, speech and mind to benefit others. And ethical conduct is not to bring harm. Then thirdly, with patience, that in engaging in activities to benefit others, I will experience hardships. Through cultivating my own spiritual qualities, through studying, through receiving teachings, through meditating, I will experience hardships. I will forbear with these hardships. I will be patient with them. I'll be tolerant with them. I'll put up with them. I won't let them throw me from the path of achieving this great goal. And then fourthly, the mind of joyous perseverance, generating great delight in our opportunity to engage in virtuous activities, wanting to do so evermore. So that's the fourth step of the meditation, reflecting on the 6 perfections, the activities of bodhisattvas. And then lastly, when we come to dedicate this dedicate this virtue, with an understanding of emptiness, we dedicate this virtue. That's may our spiritual guides, such as His Holiness and Lama Zopa, may they remain stably in this world, continuing to be of ever greater benefit to sentient beings. And may I, through the accomplishment of my teacher's instructions, may I quickly progress to become a Buddha for the sake of others. And in order for this aspiration to be achieved, I commit to continuing to engage in study, reflecting and meditating so as to give rise to the mind of bodhicitta and engage in the 6 perfections. And these kinds of prayers, this kind of meditation, through engaging in repeatedly over a sustained period, change will come to us, benefit will come to ourselves and all sentient beings. Mm-hmm. See? Okay.
That TV nyamne just that gombe nyamne de yakwa show said di molam di ko that's.
So tomorrow we will continue in the text, and we've now, in terms of the beginning, middle, and end, if we compare this to hearing, reflecting, and meditating, we've heard about the presentation on the beginning, which is hearing, and we completed that perhaps yesterday or today, and now today we have finished the middle part, that of reflection. Now we come to the end part in this way of dividing, that of meditation. So that's where we will start tomorrow. Okay. If you have questions, then Andy? Andy's friend, Alan?
It's about the omnipresent mental factor of intention. I thought the omnipresent mental factors were neutral, whereas the mind of giving is virtue. So that's one thing, something that is neutral, nature virtue. And secondly, if the opposite of the mind of giving is miserliness, which is one of the 20 non-virtuous mental factors, why then wouldn't miserliness be the omnipresent mental factor of intention also?
Okay.
Because they're just diametrically opposite. Why?
Sure. Okay. So two questions. The first being, as I understand, the omnipresent mental factors, these are neutral in nature. Generosity is virtuous in nature. Yeah. So how does that sit together? Yeah. Then we heard that the opposite of generosity is miserliness, and miserliness is one of the 20 non-virtuous mental factors. So then why is miserliness not then also intention? Yep. Yeah? Okay. Country ni shusam. Dene semchung ngapchuna tik nangla. Dene di kuntu nga dento konso chikchuna tangyom sekire. Gewa mi gewa tangyom dire. Di konso tangyom re nge kosong. Tangyom yin di kuntunga de konso tangyom. Deni jimpa korang sempa yina. Deni kong kuntu re. Deni kong tangyom re. Yini tangyom re kong gesem re. Re. Zechang kandis kong kuntu re. Jimpare. Di chikche, deni jimpa le doktok sarnare. Sarna se korang kong nyenyon chik, nyenyon chik re. Deni nyenyon nishunonga kong chik re. Deni kong yang sempa re marepe.
Take me as a Matsuwa, take me as a somebody, take me as a somebody, you don't take me as a but Kundro said, Dilla, Jina, the Kundro Lading, Kundro Ma, Selane, so to December, Ila Cheva Rapanga, the Kundro Labore. Di ane semi kuni kodo jowa jinja kundu rele ko. Chise dini inza sowa dushi sempa di kundu na sempa di ko. Ane di kare so tanyum.
Tanyum re. Kundu nga konso ngobo kare re tanyum re. Konso gewa ma gesema re.
Mangu yore. Kundu nga la gewa inge yore. Gewa inge yore tanyum yore. Niga sunga yore. Dati nga so gewa sem 기위의 셈기 코도 주요 군대 세상 개화차. 얘네 미기의 셈기 코도 주요 군대 세상 미개화차. 다양 당용 셈기 코도 주요 군대 세상 당용 체. 진짜 당용 되라. 그래서 군대 되라 개화요 미개화요. 마대.
마대 그렇잖아. So the 5 omnipresent mental factors which are again feeling, discrimination, intention, mental engagement, and contact. these are in nature virtuous, non-virtuous, neutral. They can be all three. Well, not at the same time, but they can be any of the three, rather. So that would answer your first question. So that when the intention, the mental factor of intention is generosity, the giving, the wish to give, then it's going to be virtuous. When the mind is mindfulness, so now your second question, when the mental factor of mindfulness is the intention, so the intention to keep for oneself, then the mental factor of intention will be non-virtuous. Okay? Okay, good, thank you. Other questions? Okay, then thank you very much.